Welcome to Insidious Chapter 2. There isn't really one of those sequels that stands on its own and makes sense on its own. You have to watch the first one for any of this to make sense. So go watch that first. Better yet, watch my video about it first if you're too lazy. I'll link it everywhere I can. Movie starts with a full 90 seconds of opening credits with a young Elise, the old bitch that died at the ending of the last movie, showing up to a young Josh and his young mom's house to check out if their house is haunted or what exactly is going on. She's there with her partner at the time, this Jeffrey Dahmer looking dude, who's also one of those people with a supernatural talent or ability to talk to ghosts or whatever. I don't know what they're called. He's not as good as Elise, but he's kinda, yeah, he's alright, you know? But she's definitely better, that's why they brought her over here. And of course, she finds out that Josh can astrally project and see ghosts and get possessed and shit. Tells his mom that she can turn off this ability for him to prevent any evil spirits from calling up his ass. Mom's like, how are you gonna do that? But then the kid stands up and randomly goes, I'll show you. Then points at a door that opens on its own and she's like, you know what? I don't give a fuck how you do it, just do it. And Elise hypnotizes him into forgetting that he has the astral projection ability. Then the loud and obnoxious title screen happens, followed by another almost 3 whole fucking minutes of more opening credits. You're not fooling anybody movie just because you split it up. Fuck you. And of course James Wan, the director, Hideo Kojima's it and shoves his name in there 17 different times. Anyway, first thing we see after that is the police interrogating Josh's wife. I forgot what her name is, but I'm pretty sure it's with an R. They ask her if she really thinks that her husband didn't kill Elise, even though the last thing Elise did was take a picture of him, which by the way, the last movie really made it seem like she captured an image of the ghost possessing him, but apparently no, it was just Josh. Lying, misleading assholes, whatever. She explained everything that happened that day and then evil spirit probs killed her. Cops like, Lul, you really believe in ghosts? And says that they'll do a forensic anal ISIS to see whether the strangulation prints on her neck match Josh's hands or not and get back to them. Then we cut to Grandma's house, aka Josh's childhood house, where the family's staying now for a while. And the next around 20 minutes of the movie can pretty much be skipped because only 4 main things happen, so I'm gonna run through them real quick. Number 1, spooky dooky shit keeps happening to the entire fam. Rhonda, no, that's not it. Wifey and Grandma keep hearing the piano being played and toys being turned on. Keep seeing this creepy lady in white wandering around the house. A few ear-piercing jump scares and whatnot happening, etc., etc. Number 2, they both tell that to Josh, but he keeps dismissing that shit, saying that he wants to move on and acting weird himself, talking to some unknown figure at night and stuff like that. Number 3, the Phasmophobia boys go to Elise's house to reminisce or pay their respects, see if there are spirits there, I don't know. But they're there and some more dooky spooky shit happens, which leads them down into her super secret, super ugly, always locked reading room, which I believe is where she talks to ghosts and shit. And whether it be by pure coincidence or the fact that Elise's spirit led them to that, they happen to stumble upon the tape from the day that she turned off Josh's ability to have sleepy EP out of body XPP, which they watch and discover something odd in it. Isn't her house supposed to be closed off by cops to investigate and stuff like that? Or are they really sure that Josh did it so they didn't really bother to do that? I don't know how it works, I'm not a pig. Anyway, number 4, the cops call Rita and tell her that Josh is no longer a suspect because his prints somehow don't match. Then the ghost slut in a white dress messes around with her baby and power slaps her unconscious into some furniture. While that was happening, Grandma had went to the Phasmophobia boys at Elise's house, telling them that creepy ghost stuff is still happening. So they show her the footage that they found from the night all those years ago, and that when young Josh stood up and said that eerie shit, there appears to be a very faint apparition of old Josh in the background. So they're like, oh shit, the plot thickens. And she's like, if only Elise were here to help us. So they call Jeffrey Dahmer, her old partner, to come help contact her for them. He obliges and they try to contact her in her reading room using his preferred method, which is a bunch of lettered dice. He asks a question, then throws them and finds a word in the dice, which I have some qualms with because I feel like it's one of the more inaccurate methods of contacting or doing readings. Like, why not have a Stranger Things letterboard instead? Because here we see him on multiple occasions separate the letters with his own hands to make words out of them. But you can make many different words out of the same letters. It's not like other times where they fall and they're clearly spaced out and in the right order to make out a readable word. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. He asks Elise if she's there, and after a few throws, she does some paranormal activities and responds. Then he asks her who killed her, and she says she did. Yeah, how about you give us a name, you fuck-ass dumb bitch?
What does she want?
What, you're not gonna ask either? Oh, brother. See, while you were partners, you were just as dumb as each other. Actually, no, even if she did give a name, it's not like it would help much at all, so I'm the dumbass, never mind. She says that her killer wants to continue killing and they can find her at Our Lady of the Angels, which is a hospital that Grandma used to work at that is now abandoned. They go over there to investigate that creepy-ass place. Jeff feels some bad ghost vibes coming from this one particular room, and coupled with another predictable ear rape jump scare, he's like, this one right here, and asks Nana if she remembers this room, and miraculously, she somehow does, even though she's seen hundreds of patients in her time. And honestly, it kind of makes sense because of what happened, which is that one day she took Josh to work. At the time, the patient she was tending to in this room was a bald old guy that attempted to untesticle himself. She told Josh to shut up and not touch anything while she works, but being a dumbass child, he did, so the bald guy woke up and attacked him, and I don't blame him. I would attack any random child that is fingering my life support as well. A few days later, she saw this guy again for the last time, getting in an elevator with her and wandering around the hospital. She asks one of the nurses why this patient in room 401 or whatever it was is wandering around, but the nurse is like, the fuck you mean, girl? That patient died yesterday. Ooh, spooky, ooh. Flashback over, they go into the records room that is miraculously fully intact and complete. Find No Balls' file, aka Mr. Parker, get his address and go there. Turns out it's abandoned too, so they break in. The place smells like shit and Dahmer feels even more bad vibes, so they know they're in the right place. The Phasmo boys go upstairs to look around, leaving the old people alone. See an old-timey baby pusher thing, then walk into the little girl's room where there are a bunch of toys in a dollhouse. The rocking horsey toys start moving on their own, and a little girl shows up running around and sitting on the bed saying, you can't be here. If she sees you, she'll make me kill you. Roger that, creepy little child. We didn't even want to be here, honestly. Don't worry about it. Okay, quick question, and all it makes sense later in the video. Isn't that child supposed to be a young young version of the spirit that is in Josh's anus right now. Why the fuck is she here? Whatever. It's probably some convenient paranormal ghost logic they just came up with right now for movie convenience. Who cares? Downstairs, Jeff asks Elise why she brought them here and rolls his dice a couple of times before moving some of them and getting the word Morse, which is Latin for death, which again, I feel like is cheating because you could have just as easily moved them around to a different word, like, rap. Yeah, rap. Maybe she wants you to lay down some heat, jackass. Your contact method is fucking shite. Get a better one. Moving on. Nana sees a painting of the spirit that she saw in her house. Then a chandelier almost falls on her and Jeff's like, this is not Elise. Then they hear a bunch of thuds and all the doors in the house shut. The dice rearrange themselves to spell out Mater o Mortis, which is Latin for mother of death. So he figures out the spirit that's in the house is the mother of Parker. Then they hear a bunch of knocks coming from behind the bookshelf, so they move it and find a secret room behind it. They go in and that's where the smell's coming from because it's full of a bunch of dead bodies on church pews covered in moldy cloth. They find a bunch of mortar weapons, newspaper clippings, and a black dress, which is all evidence of Parker dressing up in this black dress and doing a bunch of killings. By the way, if these corpses are real, which I'm pretty sure they are because they lifted one of the cloths, how do they still have flesh on them? It's been like 50 years or something. They should be skeletal remains by now. Also, this place is a biohazard. They are 100% walking out of here with 12 different respiratory diseases. Anyway, back at Grandma's house, possessed Josh puts passed out Renee on the couch and sniffs her. Then we see him pulling out a tooth in the bathroom, saying that he doesn't want to kill anymore, but with a female ghost behind him saying that his dead soul is withering away his live body, and the only way to keep it healthy is to kill them, which is another bullshit rule that the movie just came up with right now, and if you don't like it, fucking kill yourself, you know? Later, Renee wakes up and checks that her baby's fine. It is. Tells Josh everything that happened and argues with him about leaving the place, but he's like, we tried that already, we just have to ignore them now. Then they hear the piano playing, and they go down and check it out, and she's like, wait, they're playing the song. What song? The song I wrote for you. Oh. Well, it was garbage anyway, and I changed my mind, by the way. I'm gonna beat up the ghost with a baseball bat. Later that night, we get a few more annoying jump scares because astrally challenged boy Dalton had another out-of-body experience while he was sleeping, seeing a female run out of his closet, asking for help, which turns out to be one of Parker's victims that survived. Then a bunch of other evil spirits trying to possess his body, ripping up the covers, but he gets to it first and wakes up in a fright. Next day, with the kids out of the house, Nana simply appears out of nowhere to tell Renee what she's been up to, and that Josh is probably possessed by this Parker murderer guy, and they have a plan to bring Josh back. See, the Phasmophobia boys give Jeff a mic and a syringe with a tranquilizer in it, and not one, but two safe words if shit goes south. He's gonna go inside and talk to possessed Josh and stick him with that thing at an opportune moment while they'd be listening from the van outside. He goes in saying he's an old friend of Elise looking for closure, then asks him a bunch of questions about the spooky stuff that's been happening. Josh, looking like he's on chemo meds, answers these questions and offers to get him a drink from the kitchen. While he's gone, Jeff examines one of Josh's teeth he found on the ground and tries to load up the needle when Josh shows up again with his arm behind his back, obviously holding a knife, and telling him that Mother told him about his dice. And for some reason, Jeff the jackass is still giving him the benefit of the doubt and not immediately yelling, quesadilla eating unicorns. Also, how did he hide an open needle that quick without stabbing himself? And also, number two, why is that syringe empty? When they gave it to him, it was full of green stuff. Whatever. Josh / Parker, Jorker attacks him with a knife, but it gets stuck in some wood. No code words needed. The Phasmo boys here to struggle and rush in to find Jorker choking out Jeff and fighting over the needle. Specs tries to stop him but gets knocked out himself while Jeff also goes unconscious, whereas the fat Jew comes in to tase Jorker, who somehow is able to stick Jew boy with the trank needle before he falls down on the fat dumbass. Realizing he's about to pass out, picks his downed colleague that's just coming to as the perfect spot to land on, limiting his movement and allowing Jorker to once again knock out Specs. What a glorious symphony of retardation this just was. Whatever. Jeff wakes up in the shadow realm where Josh's spirit is trapped. He's like, hey, I remember you. Aw, man, if you're here, that must mean you're dead. Enough about you, though. Can you help me get out? Sure. And he suggested they go looking for Elise, so they wander out the place they're in and find some naked old guy who keeps saying, they got your baby, they got your baby, they got your baby, pointing to his old house from the first movie where the baby intruder is, and Josh defends his family from the baby intruder, inadvertently causing all the ghost shit they saw in the first movie at the first house, resulting in a twisted case of paranormal time travel that I'm not going to comment on because time travel on its own is a whole can of worms, actually bucket of worms. Make that paranormal time travel, and oh boy, now we're really shitting with our pants on, so I'm not even gonna go near that. Moving on. Elise shows up to help shoo away Antonio Van Pedophile. She's like, I came down from heaven because I heard y'all needed my help. Tells him he needs to remember where the layer of that bitch that's possessing his body is in the Shadow Realm, so they can go there and find some memories or some shit to help unpossess his body so he can get back into it. Problem is, he doesn't remember where that is no more. However, young Josh does, so they do some paranormal time travel back to when he was young, and he was hypnotized by Elise when she came over, and old spirit Josh asks young fucking hypnotized Josh where said layer is. He gets up and points to the door, and Jeff opens it in that scene that we saw from the beginning of the movie that young Elise and young grandma thought was pretty fucked up, but now dead spirit Elise is like, I say. They go through that door and see another red door, which is apparently her lair. Hey, wait a minute, I thought the red door was reserved for the really fucked up bad super evil demon from last movie, but apparently not. It's just for whatever is visually convenient for the movie. Whatever. Back in the real world, after dropping off her baby by a friend, Renee and grandma get a message from one of the Phasma boys to come back to the house because the coast is clear, which obviously was not sent from one of them, but from Jorker, who took control of one of their phones and is luring these guys over here because he's finally decided that he's okay with killing them to stop his dead soul from withering away his live body, but will not kill any of the passed out motherfuckers in the house with him right now. I don't get it. Does it have to be a woman or a child? Where the fuck is a fine print for this shit? Just kill whatever, man. Fucking dumbass crayon eating lip tart ghost, whatever. They arrive and Joker attacks them immediately, traps grandma in a closet and runs after Renee for a bit. They struggle in the kitchen for a second, then he snipes her in the head with a teapot, which I think is a fucking hilarious shot for some reason. After that teapot no scope, he starts choking her out, and at that very moment, their two sons arrive from school, daycare, or play day, or whatever the f they were at, and Dalton smacks his dad on the head with a baseball bat to get him off his mom, which gives him just enough time to run down to the basement and lock themselves in, while Jorker tries to break down doors and walls to get to them. Down there, Dalton obviously realizes that his dad is possessed, and suggests astrally projecting himself right now to go find his real dad in the spirit realm or shadow realm and bring him back to his real life body. He takes his little bro's string can phone with him to find his way back to the real world easier, lays down and goes into the shadow realm. And you know what's crazy? The only way to access the shadow realm is to either get hypnotized or go to sleep. Now, since there's nobody here hypnotizing him, that means either he somehow became a Zen Buddhist monk that can access this power whenever the fuck he wants since the last time we saw him, or little bro just took a nap. Right now. With his possessed father trying to kill him and his family. That easy. Yeah, anyway, back to the red door, folks. They pass through and end up in Parker's house, get into the little girl's room, only to find out that the little girl is actually a young boy. A young Parker dressed up as a little girl, to be precise, because his mother is forcing him to do that. Then they see her come in, yell at him, and beat him for not dressing up and being a girl like she ordered him to. Basically, she's every current day retard woke mother forcing their child to be trans. After the child abuse is over, she banishes the two old paranormal ghost talker people, I forget what they're called, Jeff and Elise, out of the room, separating them from Josh, then attacking Josh. While back in the real world, Specs wakes up and frees Grandma, goes down to help protect Renee and the kids from Jorker, who has broken through some drywall to get to them. However, Specs is a weak little nerd and doesn't slow him down much. Jorker sees Dalton and realizes what he's doing, so he attempts to murder him with a hammer. However, at that very moment, in the Shadow Realm, little Parker teleported out of his room, and Elise convinced him to open the door so they can save Josh and destroy the memory of his mother, which will also somehow end his suffering and free his soul or whatever. I don't fucking know how that works, but who cares? He opens the door, Elise goes in and hits his mother on the head with a fucking pony, which has the effect of knocking out Jorker in the real world and pushing Parker's spirit out of his body. Again, don't know how that works, don't ask me. Elise tells both of the dudes to go find their bodies and wake up in the real world, while this area of the Shadow Realm collapses. Jeff is not dead, by the way, like Josh thought. He's just passed out. While running out and looking for their bodies, they find Dalton and use the string phone to run back to their bodies and hop into them before any other spirits get to them first. They wake up, hooray, they're back, but Renee's still traumatized as fuck and does not trust that Josh is Josh. So he proves that it's really him by saying, I was trying to play your song. She's like, oh yeah, that's why I was so trash, and believes that it's really him. Fat Beard Dude wakes up a bit too late for the action. Then in the morning, Jeff hypnosis removes the ability of Josh and Dalton to astrally project, so nothing like this ever happens again. Then Dead Elise and the Phasmophobia boys go to help the only victim Parker left alive, but while there, Elise senses something terrible behind her lurking in the shadows. Can you just fuck off and go to heaven already? Stop setting up sequels for f***'s sake. Whatever. This movie gets 35 pianos out of 909 church organs.